All right, good morning, everyone. Coach Lees is here. Thanks to your patience. Good to talk to you guys. It's been a couple weeks, but Cougar Baseball's back home this week to host Cal. Coach Lees, I guess let's start off with Sunday, the fun thing. Scotty Sunich, the first 9-inning no-hitter since 1976. Talk about that day. Scotty Sunich no-hitting the Ducks.
It was an amazing thing to watch in the dugout. I've been associated with one other one since I've been in college coaching, and you could just see it as it was evolving. Some of the pitches he'd made, some of the plays that were made on defense, and he just kept getting stronger and stronger. And at the end of the game, we had Derek Chapman in. We removed Justin Harris with the back soreness, and they're two best friends. And for Chapman to make one of the plays that I thought was going to be a hit, and I turned around, stood up on the dugout and saw that he was close enough, but didn't know it was going to happen. But made a great catch, and Scotty's a senior. He's been through a lot, over the last 4 years, and for him to do what he did, he just made pitches all day long, and scored some runs, so they could kind of feel maybe for the first time this year where he could feel good about going out. Hey, we got a 3-run lead. I can kind of relax and just pitch instead of every pitch being, highly executed. So very exciting for our team, and more excited for him.
When you talk about the offense, I mean, it's kind of the tale of two ends in that series, where the doubleheader where you left a lot of men on base and you're one hit away and you lose a couple close games, and then you got those hits. So you got those 2-out hits on Sunday. Where does this offense kind of stand, and what are you working towards this week?
Well, Mercer and Jovan did a very good job. Both executed their pitches. We had some opportunities to score with less than 2 outs in both games. Had a lot of opportunities to score with 2 outs, and at that time you got to get a hit. There's no, hit a ball to right field or move a guy in from infield back. You've got to get a hit. So then they brought in a closer that was sitting 97 to 100, and that was tough. We have not prepared for that one this year, unless I'm throwing it about 10 feet away and as hard as I can. But I actually thought our kids competed against him very well. It just was too much for us. Starting pitching was good with Mullins. He did a fine job. A.J. Block, we got some great innings out of. Every guy who pitched other than Cody Anderson did a really good job. And unfortunately, the one error that we had in the first game on Friday kind of told, it's a 2-1 game, and we've been fielding great, and we fielded great for the series, but there wasn't much room for error that night with who was throwing and then who was actually closing. So, as in regards to our hitting, that Andres had a very good weekend. He, has been struggling throughout the season, but he had a really good series. Clanton did okay, and then we just had some okay competitive ABs. So we're going to try and keep searching for the best way to attack pitchers to compete with 2 strikes, to score that run from third base, and execute that way. The batting averages for both teams were under 200 this weekend. Both would say we struck out too much. But we broke out on Sunday, did not give up. Felt very good about the way our kids bounced back. Could have easily given in, being down 2-zip, but they came out with a lot of energy, a lot of confidence, and it was much easier to have the confidence when you have, Scotty Sunich just said, just throw a no-hitter for the day. So that was good, well-deserved. Scored 7 runs, no errors, made good plays, and had a guy throw strikes. I'd like to say that's exactly how we wrote it up, but it was inevitable that day for sure.
A couple weeks ago, kind of a roster move. You got back the junior catcher Robbie Teal, who tore his meniscus in the first weekend of the season, but he came back the Arizona series, had a big hit in the wind down there, and then hit the go-ahead homer against Gonzaga. Had another 3-run double this weekend. What kind of talk about Robbie Teal, having him back? What does he allow your club to do?
Well, we've moved Robbie around. He hasn't played many games for us, and been sticking both him and Cal in the 8-hole. But it was time to move Robbie up. He'd had good competitive ABs, And he hit the homer he hit against Gonzaga, obviously well needed. And then the game on Sunday with 2 outs and the bases loaded, didn't do a good job in a couple innings before that, and the hitter before that, but caught it up in the wind. Left fielder's playing in a little bit, probably more than what Coach Horton wanted him to. But in any case, we scored 3 runs. He's a very good catcher. Guys like throwing to him. He can frame a ball. He can block a ball. He's having him and Cal allows us to be good. It allows us, to have a little bit of rest and make some lineup changes and move some things around. Neither one of them are very fleet of foot, so we've got to decide when and if we need a base run for either one of them towards the end of the game. But the addition of Robbie's helped our team.
And then now looking forward to this week, you got Cal, a very good offensive team, one of the national leaders in home runs, and Andrew Vaughn coming in. What are the goals? What do you need to work on this week to get a series win against Cal?
Well, a lot of the same stuff. I would say our pitching staff has really improved as the Pac-12 seasons got underway. We've just had a couple hiccups here and there with a reliever or a starter, but the young kids are really developing. I tip my hat to Coach Spencer, who works tirelessly to get them ready, and you can kind of see the started to evolve into who they are. We've had to pitch a lot of pitchers each game, typically, and he's working on getting them built up so they can pitch more in an inning to 2 to 3. And you see guys like Rosenkrantz, who came in, did a very nice job. AJ did a very nice job this last weekend, and so those are quality innings that have kept us close. And when you add the pitching and what our defense has been doing throughout the Pac-12 season, it gives us a chance, and that's why we've been in games. We haven't had any blowouts, but we need to start deciding something on the offensive end to break open, to separate. We get into position to score runs. We've done all the work. You got on base. You've got to second. You've got to third. We need to execute just by, whether it be competing or slow down the process. But in that competitive moment, we need to do a better job. So we're going to be looking to do that again this week. They've got a quality pitching staff. They've got very good hitters, and Andrew Vaughn might be the best hitter in the league, maybe one of the best hitters in the whole country. So it'd be nice to keep people off base in front of him, and put him in a position where maybe he's the only hitter. But very excited about our pitching staff and the improvements they've made, and we'll keep attacking the hitting part.
You're talking about offense. I would like to go back to pitching for a second. So you got 9 innings out of your bullpen, no runs this weekend. So you're talking about the developments. Who's really, do you think, can step forward to where you have reliable arms that you can go to late in games?
Well, Hayden Rosenkrantz has done a nice job. Had a little hiccup down in Arizona, but since then has been lights out. I think Spence does a very good job of matching up and seeing who's in the lineup on the other side to get 15 pitch out of guys here and there. Parker McFadden has done a very nice job. He's coming in throwing real heat, sitting at that 94 to 97 with the breaking ball. He's throwing a lot more strikes. AJ Block coming out of the pen against Oregon was lights out. Nick Strange came in, got an out. Let's see. Walker has continued to be who Ryan Walker can be. So feel good about that, and our starters are starting to get a few more innings out of them, obviously, and getting into that 5, 6. Other than Cody Anderson, we're getting a lot out of that the starters, which allows our pen to shrink a little bit, and then you can go hitter for hitter or inning for inning. But Spence has done a really good job of that.
You mentioned Cody Anderson. It's been a struggle for him this year.
Mm-hmm.
What are you hoping to see out of him going forward, other than obviously improvement from what you've seen so far?
Yeah, just improvement. He's been getting behind in hitters, leaving balls up, a lot of 1-0 hits in the last couple games, and not pitching to his capability. We know what's in there. In a little funk right now. We expect it to be better, but we're going to look at another starter this weekend and maybe put Cody in the pen and see if that can help. We don't know who's going to start yet, but we're planning to start somebody else.
Okay. And shifting to offense, saw Corey Meyer warming folks up, and where does he stand recovery-wise?
Corey's ready to play. We're going to scrimmage a little bit today as well. Pitch some kids who didn't get the innings that this last weekend. Moyle and Barnum and Mayer and Nanke. So some guys that one either didn't get to go on the trip, or the guys who were on the trip and didn't pitch. We need to make sure that they're good to go. And then we've got some hitters that we want to see face some live pitching. Some kids who didn't get as many ABs or need more ABs, and a couple kids we left home that may be on the roster this weekend, with the possibility of Justin Hare being out with the back soreness. So today's important for us in that regard, and then we'll practice tomorrow. Good long practice, touch everything we need to about Cal. Started looking at the games that Cal's played, a little bit more in depth on their hitters, their pitchers, kind of the style, and we'll educate them tomorrow, the next couple days, to our plan versus Cal.
And so Corey is full bore for the scrimmage?
Yeah, Corey's ready to go. We'll look to insert him when we can. We still have roster limits when we play, against a Pac-12 opponent, but I'm very much more excited as we go into the next week when we've got 2 weekends where we play UW and Santa Clara, where we've got an open roster with an in-state opponent, and so hoping to move him because Corey can hit. He showed the numbers last year. He hit 290 for us, had some very good ABs. He's ready to catch and throw. Make sure he's full strength, but he's ready to go.
Any questions on the line for Coach Lees?
Yeah, Coach, Stephen Luby here with the Daily News. I want to go back to Scotty for a sec. A veteran guy for you, a guy who's really been good a lot this season, even prior to the no-hitter. What just makes him, a good pitcher out there for you guys?
Well, I think Scotty's evolved over the last, going on year 3 with Spence. He started out as a closer. We went back and forth because we didn't feel like we had enough starters or quality starters, and we moved him to the end last year, and then we moved him to the front this year and just made him a starter. And what I think you've seen is that he's been able to slow the game down a little bit. He's a very high, amped-up pitcher. He wants to throw it as hard as he can every time. He executes, pitches with effort. And his last 2 outings, he can go up to 93 miles an hour, but his last 2 outings, he's setting that 88 to 90 range, under control, ability to throw 3 pitches, ability to slow it down. So I think his days as a pitcher are going to get better because he's been able to slow it down and just, not throw it as hard as he can, but look to more execute the pitch, knowing that, it doesn't have to be 93. It needs to be, 88 to 90, and throw it where you want to.
Yeah, Coach. And then, what's he like in the dugout, in the clubhouse? What's he like as a teammate out there?
Great teammate. He's one of our team captains, chosen by our team. He's got a sense of humor. I think he's at a stage in his life where you come in as a freshman and you think the world's going to, drop down because you hit a guy or, somebody gets base hit. And I think he's really good at educating our young kids, being able to slow it down. And I think you look at the way our young kids have performed this year from where they've started and where they've come. Obviously Coach Spencer's leading that crew, but having the older kids like Scotty Sunich can really help. Sense of humor he's a very positive kid. He works tremendously hard, and he's a giver. And that's what makes him Scotty.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions on the line for Coach?
Hey, Coach, it's Chaz. How you doing?
Chaz.
Hey, you mentioned it a little bit. How's Justin? What was it? Just a big cut on a cold day, and it kind of strained something in his back there.
Yeah, he took a big hack. You saw the hack he took. It looked like, and he fell down. It was what the heck you're supposed to be taking in a 3-hole when it's right down the middle. He missed it, but he got sore immediately. I knew when I left the third base coach's box that it was time to get somebody else up. But I don't know all the details. I did see Justin this morning in the weight room. He was not feeling good, did not lift weights today. Talking with Andy Gefford, would be questionable for the weekend. They're doing everything they can, but and he's a tough kid. He'll do all he's supposed to as far as getting healthy, but I'd say right now he's questionable for the weekend, and we just want him healthy. We don't want to get him in there with just soreness, and he could, but maybe not, and his health is means more to us right now.
Sure. And Block and Rosenkrantz, both of those guys were as good as they. Block, I know Rosenkrantz is just a freshman. Block's a sophomore. They were as good as they've been all year for Hayden and his career for AJ, right?
Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better. I was very excited the way AJ came in and threw. We needed him to do that. He bridged that very, very well. Hayden has continued. We believe that both of them could be future starters here, and with what they're doing the last couple weeks, and we feel like they're headed towards that. In the meantime, they're a bridge right now. We may start one of them this weekend. We'll wait and see on that, but very encouraged by them being a freshman and sophomore and getting what we're getting out of them.